Thanks for checking out Symphony on YouTube. Please be sure to subscribe and like our videos for updates.
Anywhere elders of the region meet together and talk about our issues, focusing on restructuring, all of us should be part of it, because Nigeria needs to be restructured, because the way the situation is presently is skewed in a manner that is favoring a particular section of the country. And if we are going to remain as a united nation, united country, we must be fair. We must listen to the hues and cries of the people, particularly those of us that are from the Niger Delta. We are the people that are sustaining the economy of this country. So what we want should be listened to. It's not asking for too much, as far as I'm concerned. So whether I was there or not, I think I am part of whatever they have talked about.
But what are really the terms of this restructuring from the point of view of the Niger Delta?
Before we talk about the import of restructuring, we can look at the document that is being used in the governance of the country. The Constitution. As far as I am concerned, and like as you do well know, the Constitution is an aberration. It is not proper. It is supposed to be a document that will be fair, that will take care of the interest of the people. Today, we can say that that Constitution is in favor of the North. Can I use a word, even though it has been used often, hackneyed? The new nation called Nigeria is an estate of our great-grandfather, Uthman Dan Fodio. And that we will ruthlessly resist any change of power, using the minorities of the North as willing tools and the South as a conquered territory. Never to allow them think about their well-being, and we should not allow any of them to rule over us. These are things that have been stated since 1960. And I can tell you that the present Constitution is fashioned after that. So there is an imbalance, and it is not proper. So, and in that Constitution, the president has the powers of doing what he feels like doing. I can tell you, the Avengers came up in 2006. People will tell us that why didn't they do all of that when Good Luck, a man from the South, was the president? Look, rulership is a continuum. Good Luck was a president, he left office. So President Buhari took over. So whatever that was left before that they didn't take care of must continue. There were issues that were laid down before amnesty was granted, and those things were going on before Mr. President came on board. What are we talking about? Development of the place. So we have also come to understand that it is only when we take some arms, militancy, that is when they listen to us. That was what happened during 1966, when his own people started looking for state creation from 1940, after regionalization in 1939. No state was created for his own people, for self-identity, even though they went to Lancaster House, where they said we should be recognized as a group of people. We came, Brie went there and said we need to have a state created for us. They didn't agree. It was only when Isaac-Boro went into militancy that a state was created after 27 years. And that is what that has come on to bear. So you would not blame any group of young men that are agitating in the South, in the Niger Delta region. Avengers, not different.
Now, Avengers have been under for some years now, or for some three years now. let's check out what happened within that 3 years that there was no agitation from them. What level of development was experienced in the Niger Delta
There was no
region?
development. By the time we were able to secure what we call ceasefire, these young men respected the elders, the people that approached them, discussed with them. And after all of that, they now told the elders what they want that should be brought to the table,
Which were?
which were development of the area, you know, the University of Maritime University, opening roads, infrastructure. Look at the East-West road that was given, awarded since 2006, 15 years ago. It has not been completed. But some other roads that had come, you know, after that have been completed. They also want to complete the road from Abuja to Kano before our man, the president, leaves office. These are not the properties. So these young men put all of that together and gave it to the elders. The elders constituted themselves into what we call PANDEF and met with Mr. President on the 1st of November 2016, believing that they issued what we call a 16-point agenda. And out of all of the 16 points, I can tell you that it is only one, so to say, had been taken care of fairly. That is the opening of the Maritime University in Okrenkoko. So are you taking us for a ride? We gave ideas to the elders. They put it up together in a paper and brought it to you. Now that you have not done anything, it appears you can only listen to us when we pick up arms. And that is why they are coming up again. And nobody's going to blame them. So what I can tell you is that our constitution is faulty. We have to address it. And that is all, you know, embracing what we call restructuring. The constitution has to be cared for. That is why a body of people from the southern part of the country, the middle belt of the country, they have put themselves into a body called NINAS. And what is NINAS? National, Nigerian Indigenous Nationalities Alliance for Survival. Okay? Where they have given what we call a force majeure. A force majeure has been issued. They wrote a protest on the 16th of December 2020 and gave a 90-day ultimatum. That has elapsed on the 15th of March. Nothing is coming on. So in that paper, a demand was made. 5-point demand was made, and we can issue that to you. 5-point demand was made. So when we look at all of the things holistically, we will get somewhere. Presently, what we can tell you is that our constitution is not autochthonous. It must be a bottom-top approach. It must not be foisted on us. It must not be enacted by, like as if, you know, it's a foreign group of people that did all of that. So we need to sit down and do referendum, go through plebiscites, and all of it together, so that when our constitution is properly put together, all of these issues. In that constitution, we have 68 items that are known to be exclusive, no-go areas. The state governor in a place cannot have what we call a state police, security doesn't know. A lot of things are happening. Right. So we felt that these things must be put together so that you know, when we sit down and talk, it means dialogue. Except that somebody is happier when problems are happening. If not, why can't you sit down and discuss issues and make sure that all the areas of this country are duly taken care of?
All right, Elder Goriba, we're going to talk about the issue of restructuring. So let me just take you back a bit on the aspect of development of the region, which was a key demand that has always been made, I mean, decades before now. Where would you put the blame and the responsibility? Critics have said, I mean, on the side of the federal government, have said, look, the Niger Delta keeps talking about development, but the federal government has initiated development programs, agencies, and institutions. And they always quickly mention the NDDC, for instance. They'll mention the Niger Delta Ministry. They'll mention the Presidential Amnesty Program. And they'll say billions, getting into trillions of money has been budgeted for these agencies and institutions since they were created up until now. And these agencies are being managed by people of the Niger Delta. So if the Niger Delta people are complaining of development, who should they blame? And where does the finger of responsibility, or where should the finger of responsibility point?
I like as you say, I'm a very frank person. It's a two-way thing.
Yes.
We also have to share in the blame. When I say we, those of us that are from the Niger Delta, particularly the NDDC, had been manned by people from the area. There is a big problem. So many persons will be doing contracts. You are awarded a contract, monies will be paid, you will not do it. Some of the, like one particular man that has been accused of, a senator, that has been accused of having about 322 million naira contract that he didn't do. Today that man...
Actually 3.6 billion.
Okay, and today...
has switched over to the ruling party and is welcomed by the president.
Is that what we want? So we...
But to be fair to him, the court has said, okay, you didn't commit any crime.
Because when you want to have your stains washed away, just quickly switch over to the party called APC. And that is what is happening. And that is one of the reasons why the man has gone over. I can tell you that greater part of the blame should be shared by us. Those of us that have been manning those agencies, from NDDC to Amnesty Office, all of it.
So we should be looking into the mirror.
We should be looking at the mirror very properly. You cannot continue to blame the people.
If that has happened, Elder Goriba,
yes,
what are the guarantees that if in a restructured setting, the resources, more resources which the Niger Delta people are asking for, are provided? The items in the 68 list, for instance, are devolved. The states have more control of their resources, mining and oil and gas resources. What are the guarantees that it will really make any difference?
We have to do a rethink. Knowing that we are the cause of our problems. Look at what that happened in Ogoni one time. Some persons, they felt that we are not in line with what they were doing. They were called vultures. And a lot happened. So we have to go to things like that. Any person that has been charged with the responsibility of taking care of issues and you are not doing it properly, we consider you as a vulture and raise the laws against you. Because we cannot continue like this. Truly, a lot of monies have gone into the Niger Delta region. A lot. Even though they have not been properly appropriated, okay, because of this, constitution thing, a lot has gone in. Why don't you make do with the little that is there and then ask for more? So anytime we come clamoring for better funding, they will ask.
They refer you back to the
issue.
What
What have you been able to do with what we gave to you?
All
and
right.
they are correct.
All right, Mr. Goriba, isn't that why the government actually is going into this forensic audit of the
I don't see anything wrong with that.
To see how all this can be resolved. But your people are also kicking, saying the board has to be constituted today, tomorrow.
Anybody
of the
who
NDDC.
kicks against that is somebody that is a culprit. Because digging it out will expose their atrocities. That is why they are going against it. It is a worldwide acclaimed process that when you are not satisfied with what happens in an institution, in an agency, what you do is to go into the books and know whether they have done it in turn them in line with the acts established in those areas. So I don't see anything wrong with that.
But that is also one of the issues that the Niger Delta Avengers are raising at this time. The Joy Youth Council had raised it earlier, and they were pleaded with to hold on.
As far as I'm concerned, what they are talking about there is that do not use the forensic audit thing to delay the constitution of a body. That is all that they are talking about. Nobody, I can tell you that, nobody will be against a forensic audit.
Wouldn't it be proper for that report to be ready before the constitution of a new board that the government is insisting?
The people that you are probing are not the ones that you want to bring on board. So you can have the board there while your audit is going on. They are not going to in any form influence what you are doing. Okay? If somebody that is part of the persons that you are trying to investigate, you shouldn't bring him on board, the new board. Okay? Look, somebody is getting happier for this delayed constitution of the board. And that is what they are fighting against. And that is the reason why Akpabio is on the spot. And that is the reason why ultimatum was issued. And they discussed. And human beings, we have to accommodate, discussions. So they have given him up to the end of this month. Today is 29th. And by the time he came back, he said he is not under any compulsion whatsoever to constitute a board. These statements are provocative. Okay? And if we have told you to do a thing and you have refused to do it, it means that we should pressure you. And that is why agitations, do come on here and there.
But we also know that it's not within his competence to set up the board. It's a presidential action.
We agree.
Which the president has assured in his meeting with the INC.
Elders.
That he's going to do that immediately he receives the report, which is going to be ready by next month. That's July 2021. But let's move on to the issue of restructuring, which is one of the engagement the president had with the leaders of the Niger Delta, the INC in particular. And the president said, on the issue of restructuring, things are being done. He didn't mention what he himself is doing, but he said the National Assembly is doing something. And whatever the National Assembly brings to him, he is going to act on it. Do you feel any sense of assurance from the position taken by the president?
That is a way of parrying a question or a situation. I gave you a scenario here. Avengers in 2016, they gave their ideas to an elders body and they went and engaged Mr. President. Nothing has happened, and that is why these young men are coming up again. And that is their style. And that is why people are saying that restructuring, there must be true federalism, there must be resource control. We should determine how our development should come on stream. This is gimmickry as far as we are concerned. We had said that by the end of June, the body has to be constituted. President, because elders met him, had said that it has to be end of July when the report comes on board. That is a way of delaying it. And one man is benefiting from there. And that was why the young boys, IYC and a group of young men decided to, protest. And this thing should not continue like this. Everybody, you as a president, you are a president of the entire country. So all the LGAs, they are your constituencies. And if you do certain things the way you are doing it, the people that are aggrieved will rise up. Look at what we are doing right now, development. In every 100 naira that we produce in this country, 87 of it is taken away from the Niger Delta to better the lot of other areas, like as they were discussing here. It's wrong. And we are trying to do things from here to Niger Republic. Is Niger Republic part of this country? No. And the people that are supposed to be developed that you have not developed will be hungry. And that is where we are, what we are talking about. So all that we want is for us to sit down and discuss.
So
and that is why some people are clamoring for what we call a confab, a national dialogue. Things have been done because the North feels otherwise. If they sit down and talk with us and the things, particularly in the 2024, constitution, that conference they had. 2014 rather. Okay? It will be beneficial to us because of this fact that they do not want us to determine how we should be developed. They are hungry. They are enjoying what is happening, and that will not continue forever. And if care is not taken, if we do not sit down to talk, like as all of us know right now, there are agitations. The Yoruba nation is trying to go. There is what we call IPOB, Yoruba. So many persons are agitating. It will come to a point where the people of the Niger Delta will also say, because the Yoruba nation took it up to where? Took it to Warri as part of their territory. The Igbo people took it up to Warri too. So we have to tell the world that we are a separate entity. We are not part of all of that.
Isn't that what is already going on? We had Ankyo Briggs yesterday on this program responding to this issue raised by the Niger Delta Avengers on trying to blow up oil installations if their demands are not met. And she did say that these people that met with the president, the leadership of the Niger Delta and Niger National Congress, were not sent by the people of Ijaw Nation, and they were not representing them at that meeting. That what they have been clamoring for is self-determination. How do you juxtapose all of this?
Yes. Can I tell you this? You cannot be seen as a leader of a people. You are their servant. You must be seen as bringing to the fore their ideas. Mr. President of the Ijaw National Congress made a statement, very beautiful statement, when he said, we are not part of any secessionist group. We are not. But when the need becomes, we will go our separate ways. You have made those kind of statements. And in another breath, you'll be seen as coming to talk with Mr. President few days later. All right? And when you come to tell Mr. But what will Mr. President tell you? Go and wait a while. Those things are not in line with what he said yesterday. And that is the reason why our dear sister, made those kind of comments. So whatever statements you want to make, you should talk with the people, and what you are saying should be a reflection of the collective decision of the people. And it's important, because a point will come when his own nation will be so divided. Because if you are not representing me well, you cannot be my leader. All right?
Would you not, is it not possible that probably they're looking for, how to douse the tension and, broker peace with the Ijaw people and the central government?
The INC, you mean?
Yes.
Fine. It is true. But you see, when you know that things that had happened over the years are not too much in favor of you, you have to take a very firm stand. You must not be seen as being wavering. Be here. As far as I'm concerned, let me tell you this. If I were to be the INC president, I would not have come to see Mr. President having made those statements. They should have looked for me. If my statements are too strong, like as Tompolo gave what we call an ultimatum, the government went to him to discuss. They agreed on certain things, and that leverage is there. So you should not be prevaricating. You shouldn't. As far as I'm concerned, what they did to a very large extent is not proper. They will say that they have come. What did Mr. President tell them? Just relax, We are doing certain, we are doing things. The NDDC board will be constituted. We are waiting for the forensic thing, and it is different from what they agreed upon in Oprosa. End of June, they have come to get a statement from Mr. President saying that end of July. So what are we saying? A point will come, if we are not very careful, they will not take us seriously. And it is very sad.
All right, talking about the issue of taking serious and the sincerity of purpose, to achieve the issues of restructuring and the demands of fair and equitable distribution of resources, the buy-in of other sections of the country is very critical. From some of the sound bites you are hearing, especially from the northern parts of the country, do you think that such buy-in would actually exist?
From the north?
Yes.
It will not be. I was looking at one of the papers here, former senator, who was one-time governor, right, saying that what the governors of the southern region or the south-south are doing is like as if they are a separatist, movement. All right? Because the moment issues are properly addressed, they will have a problem. So they want to maintain the status quo. They are deified Sir Ahmadu Bello, and what he stated in 1960, they have taken it as a riot act, and they will not want to do anything different from what the man has stated. So it will not work. And because it will not work, and they are not going to do it the way we think that it should be done, and if they refuse to sit down to talk to the people, these agitations will continue. And for the fact that they want to coil everybody and shut people up, I can tell you that in all our territories, we have the Fulani herdsmen. 2 days ago, Fulani men killed a retired Shell staff who was staying in Warri, seized his wife and 2 kids. They are all over everywhere, possibly waiting for government to tell them that they should go on the onslaught.
No, the government will be
wouldn't do that.
But so far we haven't seen anything suggesting that.
Just before we go, I need you to respond to this, because some people are saying the Niger Delta Avengers that are threatening to blow up oil installations if their demands are not met. They call it Operation Humble. Yeah. So people are asking, is that a solution to the problem? How does that, blowing up a national asset, how does that address the agitations in Niger Delta? And there are other options that they could take.
What are the options? Like I painted a picture. Let me repeat that. They came on in 2016, few things happened, not addressed. They have come up again, and like as I said, it is only when there are these type of statements that the government begins to realize that if we are not very careful, and definitely when oil installations are brought down, it affects the economy of the nation.
Including the Niger Delta people.
I understand.
And it will cause more environmental degradation.
I am a chemist, so I know all of that. But if that is the only thing we can do, if that is the only thing we can do to get the attention of government, fair enough. And when the INC and elders came, said because of what he has discussed with the elders, the threat of Avengers is not...
It's unnecessary.
It's not necessary now. But what have you done? We have given you a window, 2016 to 2021, 5 years window. Nothing had happened. So we need to sit down and let us see that things are done very properly. It could be taken as a threat. What they have said, the moment you are complaining about an issue, and if you do not want that complaint to continue, what do? Address the issues that have been raised. And these things are tied to development.
All right.
We know people that... those of us that are from the region too have a problem, let the federal government do what we think that it is proper, and we will sort ourselves out at our level.